Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into NFT Live with the Web3 Network, where we take you around the NFT and Web3 industry in 1 hour. Super excited for this episode. Excited to be sitting here in the quad box to start a week. Another great week, man. I don't know how we're going to top all the 7 days that we had prior, but we will see. Listen, we usually go clockwise, but I want to start counterclockwise here because it is a special day for my man Gifdead here. So I really want to get into this early, man. COFFINS drops today. Let's touch on it briefly. We're obviously going to dive in, but how you doing, brother?
I appreciate that. I'm running on very low sleep, but you probably are too, Q, after your stint over in Miami. Still a fair amount to get done in the next couple hours before the pre-sale goes live. I'll pull up real quick some of the recent test exports. I'm very excited. Oh, you got it. There it is. Yeah, these are just a few of the recent test exports that I was playing around with using the Nifty Kit generator tool, which is how they have a generator app that allows me to basically launch this as an open generative project, which means that I keep it open for a month. You can mint as many as you want. It's inclusive, extremely affordable. I just want people to go in and have fun generating cool coffins, generating cool art from all the traits, over 400 traits. But yeah, this app basically creates it so I can leave it open. You hit the mint button, and in real time, you generate a unique piece of art. So that's the cool thing. Nifty Kit has that cool app as part of their platform. So shout out Nifty Kit and everything that they're doing. It's an awesome app. And again, these tools didn't exist a couple years ago, which is why I'm so excited to be playing around with it and watching this project. Very special to me. But yeah, pre-sale, everybody on it gets 2 free mints plus gas. You do have to cover gas, but 2 free mints for every single wallet on the allow list. That's during the pre-sale window. Launches tonight at 7 p.m. PST. There is a public allow list, so you can go look. I'll drop that link in the chat in a minute. Go check. Make sure that your wallets are on it. And if not, DM me. I'll try and get you on before it launches tonight. Because again, during that pre-sale window, everybody can claim 2. Public sale starts Wednesday, and that's when the pre-sale closes. Party on X is tonight.
For DBs as well. That announcement was live in like the last 48 hours over the weekend as well. So big shout out to the DBs holders out there.
Yeah, man. Every DBs holder is on the allow list and can claim 2 for sure.
All right, let's get to another piece of local news. We're going to add into the coffins discussion. Obviously, I want to go a little bit deeper here with the guys on stage. But Huda, we have some local news from you as well, my dude. You've been doing a great job here on NFT Live, but you've got another full-time gig there, or at least a full-time gig there with CryptoSlam. I do want to highlight this because you posted it in the last 24 hours. What's going on over at CryptoSlam?
Yeah, first off, appreciate the kind words. But yeah, really big deal there. It's called Slam AI. It is a new product that we're going to be launching here. I cannot give away a date yet, but like TLDR, picture ChatGPT, but for data on the blockchain. Now think of that. Think of that as an NFT trader, what you could do with that. You can, you're trying to buy an NFT with a specific trait. Ask it, what were the last 10 sales of that specific trait? What were the last 10 bids that were accepted on the trait? How long did they wait from the bid to accept it? That's just like the tiniest little example, though, of what a trader could do. You could probably use it for taxes, like spit out a report of all my profits and losses for the past year. Projects could use it for the same for accounting. But dude, like reporters, they can go ask it, what were the sales like for the last quarter for, let's say, just Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and they can leave out the rest of the chains. Or they could say global sales. And they could ask for the wash sales. They can dial it in as much or as little as they want. I think this is a really big win for content creators, right? The next NFT stats, or maybe NFT stats himself. Like how much time, how much research does this cut out with those amazing charts he puts out, dialing through pages and digging and looking for data that he can now just type and ask. Again, it's a game changer for data. It's a game changer for research. And I'm really excited that you guys are getting to see this here. Guys, sign up for that wait list, though. It is important for us to see what kind of questions you would throw at it and what the demand is for something like this. I think it's going to be pretty big, though.
Yeah, let me get that link for you guys in chat there, and I'll drop it there. for you
Appreciate
to take a look at. Hoot has been
So
all around.
massive, man, to think that you're just gonna be able to like throw these fucking questions at it and have them spit them out in 2 seconds. It's gonna be really wild to see the correlations people are able to find. You know, degens being who they are and what they're like. Oh my god, dude!
I mean,
there hasn't
forensics and research. Yeah, I mean, dude.
Well, there hasn't
sure.
really been a solid NFT analytics tool using AI as far as I know, right? So is it like a GPT? Like I know everyone's creating these custom GPTs. Is that basically
It's that,
what it is?
and so I'm not so technical that I could explain the difference between the different things. This is a large language model. I don't know if that's any different than Chat GPT, but I've played.
No,
with
that's
it.
what
It's
it is.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay. It's exactly
ChatGPT
that.
it is a large language model, and so just a quick AI update. If y'all aren't familiar, they recently announced the launch of GPTs, which are basically custom models, right? Custom AIs that you can train on specific tasks, and then you can actually publish them and sell them. So it's like if you train the best NFT analytics AI model, create an NFT GPT, you can resell that, right? So maybe that's exactly what they're doing here. Maybe behind the scenes, it's just a GPT, and they're gonna resell it.
All right, I first of all, I see the IRS just typing in, did Nifty Q pay all of his taxes? But Diggy Poppins, dude, I'm sure you've been getting after it here in the industry, man. Excited to have you again. Yeah, let's get it, man. What's been up with you?
Thank you, boss. Dude, I've been honestly, contrary to what you just said, like I took it pretty easy this weekend. Just got to hang out with the family and all that. And dude, I'm pretty psyched, dude. Seeing everything that's going on right now, friends launch projects, and just seeing the tsunami of innovation coming forth. Yeah, that's me.
Dude, this photo's amazing.
That's my daily routine, like I wake up, I go on a nice walk with my dog, listen to a podcast or the spaces, what have you, come back and then join you fine gentlemen in this awesome space that we've built together over this time. And I feel like it's all coming to fruition, right? Like it's like gardening, you just plant these seeds and through the bear market, and then things start picking up and you get to reap what you sow. And I am so pumped to see what comes out of this community, because we have some really amazing creators and contributors in our community. OVOT, man.
Yeah, I love it. We're about to get started here. A lot happening over the weekend, but yeah, big shout out to those of you that are supporting the network, especially those that are doing so today here in chat. Nick Swervis, Easy in Crypto, CSP, Asmodai, Cats Fanatic saying love seeing my dude Hoot on here. Great show, guys. Wholesome Q is back. Okay, Nick, I love it. I like that.
Q.
But as you know, we are sharing out the episode here to try to get as many folks in here into the live show as possible. If you're watching on Twitch, on X, on YouTube, either live or afterwards, big Our Vibe, Our Tribe there. We've seen some growth here on the network in the past month or two that's been unlike the rest of the year. I mean, it maybe mirrors a little bit of the general market too, but it's awesome to see on the local level what we've been able to do, man.
Yeah.
So, hit it.
I mean, can you imagine, like we're talking about language models and everything. We haven't even had like Grok unleashed on X. Can you imagine what that's going to be like? I think people are just underestimating, like all the like as if like Elon's just been sitting on his ass after acquiring X, not doing jack shit. I think it's going to be an explosion, dude, coming into the end of this year. It's going to be awesome. I'm pumped for it.
All right, a lot of great things that we can jump into with all of these guys. They've got their hands in different parts of this industry, different sectors. So really excited to get to today's episode. Gif, hit him with the don't speckle, and let's get off on this journey.
Yes. Yield, do not speckle.
Ye shall not.
I know it's really easy when you look up here at these fine folks, these shining faces, to make an assumption that everything we say is meant to be taken seriously as something like financial wisdom. But no, we are not financial advisors. Nothing that we talk about here should ever be misconstrued as financial advice. We have to say it. We have to say it for your safety and ours. It's important to know that all of this is just the opinions of us up here on the Web3 network, and all this is public opinion found, public domain, public information found on the internet. I haven't slept, but we are still not financial advisors. Do your own research.
Well, I don't think financial advisors sleep much either, so we're doing our best LARP situation up here. All right, let's get off on today's episode here. So this is what I've got on the dashboard. It's very full, as you would suggest on a Monday. Some broader macro stuff that I'm going to highlight early in today's episode. But here's what I got: Prime and Illuvium, leading gaming tokens. So those are doing extremely well. It looks like the Web3 gaming narrative that we've been talking about is picking up steam. Meme coins are picking up as well. So there's people throwing out, are we in like an altcoin season? Solana has been making the news as well. Sofa Maker, I think, was the lone like new mint that really made headlines here in the PFP sector. Friend Tech volumes we'll touch on, real world assets, Mocaverse ID Mint. So Biggie's going to get me that friend code any minute now. Some Polygon president moves, moving over to Optimism. And then we've got some art pieces to touch on as well that we want to hit. Guys, anything you want to highlight there that I talked about? And I know, Huda, you do your own great breakdown as well. So if you guys, let's just open up the floor. Anything that stands out in that, and then Huda, I'd love to hear what you got on your mind.
Dude, just the Prime token is pumping. The avatars are pumping. It's almost shocking. It's almost shocking. Like when you actually see a game that's across multiple fronts, like you said, Hugh, it's like everything coming together and doing as well as it is. Just again, because we haven't really seen anything like this other than, again, like Axie wasn't like this. You know what I mean? I mean, Step In wasn't really like this. Like, I just don't know that you've seen a really high quality game with a lot of lore, a lot of great art, a lot of different assets, a token, all this shit coming together in one big ecosystem like this. That's a fully Web3 native IP and game doing all round as well as this is doing. And I'm just so fucking excited to see this.
Yeah, we got some updates there as well from the Prime ecosystem that we'll jump into. So maybe right in the beginning of this episode, we'll get into it. Huda, anything from what we talked about here on the dashboard that you think is interesting, or something that you're covering in those NFT updates?
Right. Well, the Prime stuff, definitely interesting. I had a small bag of that airdropped or claimable, I guess, because I used to collect some of those cards. I wish I still had it. Damn it, guys. But no, just a lot going on. And at the same time, also feels like we're just treading water. I could say at least that Bitcoin flipped Ethereum for the second time in 7 days, which is pretty big. We already talked about that in the last show, so we don't need to get deep there. But I look for indicators all over the place. I used to look at things like the number of spaces, right? How many spaces are going on in Twitter? That kind of is a sign of how active and engaged people are. You can't really use that anymore. I've kind of fallen back to what kind of drops are coming out, and there's just nothing, right? So that's why I feel like we're treading water. While we have had some mints come out that have been profitable, and I know we're getting into that a little more here, there's just not a lot on the horizon. I don't have any drops, in fact, on my radar that I even plan to mint. So just still in this period where we're feeling out the space and where it's going to go and what kind of money is still coming into it. But definitely an interesting period for NFTs right now. So just kind of a joy to watch.
Asma was saying, looking forward to the Parallel Colony AI experiment. But Wood just saying, shout out to Dayton Pope for putting me onto you guys. And Nick Swerve saying, financial advisors definitely don't sleep well. And Prodigy is in the house, our moderator. Shout out to you, brother. Good to see you. Go ahead, Biggie.
I agree with you, Huda. We are definitely treading that sentiment. It's so eloquent. It's like we are treading water. However, I would say it's getting hot, right? It's like thermal waters. Like you're just starting to feel it a little bit, which is actually something I forgot to mention. I did this weekend. I got to go to these thermal waters near my home, next to the Rio Grande. It was really, really cool. I hadn't done that like in 10 years. They've developed like all these little weird hippie shacks and stuff. It was a lot of fun, man. I've been also like just pumped at seeing like all these different projects like in platforms popping up. Obviously, shilling our own command.a, but XYZ. But we've been doing fantastic. Having Red Rum visit us this Wednesday on the space. If you guys want to come and check it out, we're gonna start having like some pretty cool artists come and visit and talk about the artistic process, the creation process, and I've been learning a ton, getting inspired, very much like Gifted over here to try out this tech. Like I think you want to be that man in the arena, have some skin in the game, try out all this stuff that's coming out, because if you don't take chances, nothing different is going to happen. And I feel like that's such an important thing right now, to keep looking at, like, not just all these different platforms and artists coming up, but just in general, the tech that's being built out and available to us, so much different than before, right?
Love it. All right, let's get into this real quick. I do have this, Huda. We're not going to touch much on Bitcoin ordinals today. I think we can do that later here in the week. But this is what Huda was just mentioning, where Bitcoin is kind of overtaking Ethereum. Woo! Is in these volume sales. I mean, look at the amount of sales that we're seeing across the board. I haven't seen the CryptoSlam dashboard this orange in a long time. There are some controversies here. I don't know, Gif, if you want to hit on like a mini explainer of why these might be overtaking and the controversy around it. But yeah, look at this green here.
I don't know that it's that controversial. We talked about it. It's just Bitcoin ordinals right now. They wrap their BRC20s in some kind of NFT layer. So they track all of that together. And, you were pointing out, Huda, like some of that is tracked on Ethereum. It's just not really apples to apples. So it's a legitimate measurement. I don't think we're trying to argue that. It's more just understanding that like ETH isn't necessarily tracking all the same metrics in that volume. But it's still awesome. It is a legit indicator of how much action and interest there is over on Bitcoin right now.
Definitely. I'm going to even suggest like this little compromise too. I would love if we consolidated all the BRC20 collections into one. That would just make it a little easier to read, because I like looking at the like traditional collections. I like seeing PFPs. A little harder to read with the layout like that. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. I will say too, though, Ethereum does have those same type NFTs. Nobody just trades them. So if they did, they would show there too.
Can I throw this in here real quick? And I'm not trying to derail, so I don't want this to be a long convo. But like, are y'all fucking with the ETH subscriptions at all?
Yeah, I got some.
Oh, really? Wow, man. What do you own? You don't mind sharing?
Biggie, what did you say?
No, like what have you picked up? What have you?
Oh. Okay, so I got those.
A lot of people that picked up ETH subscriptions before.
Yeah, I got the ETH Punks, or I think that was the name of them, right? That very first collection that launched, and like a low number, and again, they don't matter, so I actually sold it just last week. But like the 100th one, the 100th ETH subscription, and then I got a bunch of the ETHscription funks, right? There's not even a marketplace for those yet, but once those went live, Chopper made them. I minted a ton of those things. So if those ever catch, I'm going to be maybe pretty okay. Yeah. Some Braille ones too, right? The good looking punks. So
I love it, man. It's one of those pickups that like you do it, you're like, hey, you never know. And then you maybe even forget until they like hit the news one day. You're like, let me check my wallet.
Exactly.
I love that, dude. Yeah.
There's something to be said for tech that pushes us forward, and that does a little bit. They're fully on chain, and I love that about them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I want to move into a conversation around what's happening in the markets too, and let's transition here because that I think goes into parallel in some of what we're seeing. So this is the first thing that crossed my timeline this morning. CBOE is set to launch margin Bitcoin and Ethereum futures. It's one of the largest U.S. options exchanges that exist. So more positive sentiment here on the macro side. We already talked about the Ethereum ETF last week, where BlackRock is now doing a spot Ethereum ETF that led to new all-time highs. I mean, we can take a look here at the largest collections on ETH as it stands today and what they're doing. But really, the meme land ecosystem is making a comeback. Parallel avatars, I think Gif mentioned. My Pet Hooligan was another big winner on the day. And then the biggest losers right now, Raw Pass down 20%, Cyberkongs, Sproto, Gremlins, Sappy Seals, and 10KTF down about 10. But yeah, guys, I mean, general feeling here on the NFT market, we've been touching on this, like kind of side-eyeing each other, right? Just like, are we back? Is this thing more than a Gordon pumpage? So yeah, let's have that combo real quick and look at some of these collections that we like.
Well, I meant to bring this back up because you're the one that initially pointed it out. I think either you or Biggie. Zeneca is about to sell like a ton of bags, right? Which is probably gonna it's going to be the anti-Gordon effect. It's going to have a catalyst of getting a bunch of people to sell off. And it makes sense, right? You see this kind of pump. We're kind of in that disbelief phase. You don't know yet why things would keep running. So if you're trying to reallocate or just consolidate and get more ETH, then now's probably a great time to do that. So I think you're going to see some of that over the next week or two, but I'm hoping, my hope is that during Thanksgiving and Christmas that there is actually some more positive energy. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of onboarding, but I do think that the conversations around the dinner tables are going to be a lot different than they were a year ago. And again, anecdotally, the fact that my dad, who is like he is the OG analog dude who legit doesn't give a fuck, doesn't understand, doesn't care about any of this shit. He's hitting me up like, well, maybe I should have gotten some. I don't want to miss out. What if I gave you some money to invest in crypto? It's like, dude, if my dad is starting to feel that, like, because that's he's getting that energy from fucking Fox News and watching the stock market.
You explain FOMO to him?
Yeah, no, like legit, he's said words to me like, I just don't want to miss out. That's FOMO coming from my dad watching Fox News. No, literal FOMO from the dude who literally is like, I don't want to touch anything I don't understand. I don't get technology. So I'm just saying,
I'm just getting so bullish.
Yeah. Yeah, watch him say "whack me" next.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Oh God,
Pepsi. When Pepsi and Meta wag me tweets.
Can we touch on this because while I was in Miami, so we didn't have an NFT live on Friday. We tried to get all of what the content that we could while I was in Miami. I think we did a pretty good job considering the fact. But while I was gone, one of the main things that I kept seeing on my timeline was, welcoming back everybody who left. Who came back? Like who?
There's definitely people. Who? There's definitely people, bro. I've been sitting
out there. Receipts. Put them in the private chat.
I'm not going to name names because this is okay. Right. Because here's the thing. I want to straddle. Two ideas and be very nuanced here with my thoughts on this. One, I want to welcome everybody with open arms and be like, no shaming. If you had to leave or wanted to leave, like no shame. Welcome back, GM to you. But the other side of that coin is I'm also going to be much more skeptical when you start making big promises, bro. and I'm going to much more appreciate and look at the people who never left as much more legit for a lot of reasons. So I want to say, GM, welcome back, and also a little bit of side eye. I'm going to just take everything with a grain of salt.
You can't fly to Miami during the cold winter months and enjoy all that shit, and then fly back during the summertime and be like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, I'll name names. I'll name names, guys.
What's that?
I said I'll name names.
Oh, name names, baby.
I'll name names. Ryan Carson's back.
Oh.
Yeah. No fucking way.
Ryan Carson's back.
You got to retire.
It's pretty wild. It's like Pac returning, right? It's the same kind of vibe. So it's just weird. It is weird. I didn't used to give a shit about that before, but now I'm a little more seasoned. I've seen what they've done in the space, maybe some money they've made in the space, and now seeing that pattern, it's a little gross.
How is Ryan Carson back? What was he doing? Was he like saying some NFT shit?
I can tell you because I watched his update and everything. Like he's been working on with AI and ChatGPT and ML. Like he went through this like executive program and basically built an AI sales ML that and now he's gonna like share with other people how they're able to build their own chatbots, like from the ground up. And so I don't know, man, for all the shit we flung at the guy, like I applaud that, he's got the balls to come back and like he's doing something. He's actually created something. He went through it and he's going to share it with other people. And, I think it's empowering, like if I'm definitely going to be following. I don't hate Ryan Carson. So yeah, dude. But yeah, he did choose a heck of a moment to come back.
Nah, miss me with that one. I hate Ryan Carson.
Yeah, I know. Not popular take, but
I got you. Okay. So I kind of threw us off the rails. Biggie GIF was mentioning the Zeneca post. That's the one that you brought up this morning on the GM Web3 show. Is this something that why was it important for you to bring that up?
I think first of all, I I do feel what he's feeling too, like fatigue, portfolio fatigue. Like I've had it for a long time, you know, for quite some time, and you know, I think it's no secret that many people in this space are considering consolidating the next opportunity. They're just obviously not trying to sell at the bottom, right? Like, and I think when somebody like Zeneca comes out and says that he's going to do this, especially at this juncture, him being an ex, or I still think he does. He's a pretty well-known poker player, you know, at measuring risk reward. I think he knows that, you know, that there are other people that are going to be playing the game, and if you're waiting to try to time the tippity top, you probably are going to miss it. Having said that, I do see all the different things that are coming down, and just in the generative art space, there are so many mints coming before the end of year that I'm stoked about and I want to check out. But I mean, honestly, like I can't fucking throw my money in every single thing. I mean, Mapan is coming up with a new drop. You know, you got FX Hash, you've got so many other things. You got Quadrillion,
Coffins, shit.
You know, after a while, you really just gotta let go and be like, look, I can't get them all, and I already have enough. And maybe instead of like looking at what's coming down the pipe, I should take a look at what I already have and see if I can like free up some liquidity, and at the same time, like not try to time the market, right? Because if you really think that you're going to wait until next summer when everything's pumping to sell at the tippity top, well, everybody else is thinking the same thing too. So I thought it was important. Again, just, you know, zig when others zag. I always like to look at the contrarian point of view. I've always been an underdog kind of person. Like, you know, whenever I hear somebody says this could never happen, I immediately want to find out why it could, you know, and who's got the best theory on how that could happen. You know, whether I believe in it or not, I do want to look at as many angles as possible. And when Seneca says something like that, who's obviously have great conviction in many of these projects, and he's already trying to front run it, right? Saying it's nothing personal. They're fabulous founders. Please don't fucking shame me. You know, he's gonna get shit for it regardless, right? Like, that's just the way the space is. But I think it's important to at least just plant that seed in people's, you know, consciousness right now, especially as we're going into the euphoria phase. It's like, no, it's not going to remain like this forever. It's like, pick your battles. It's like, what projects do you want to ride or die with, and which ones are did you just get into speculate, and maybe like you don't need so many, right? Like, I think it's a great message.
Yeah,
so I thought it was important to highlight it, you know.
I think it's a great combo to be having. You can do multiple things in the industry when it comes to holding these assets. You can have some that you're like holding and you think the narrative's good and you're trying to like maybe flip, you know, and maybe you just want to, you're not as involved in that community. And then there's others where you're like, holy shit, I'm going to be holding on to this. You know, I'm riding my BAYC till I die. You know what I mean? It's like that type of thing. So I do think there's multiple combos to be had. Like I was calling Cool Cats on Friday. I was like, dude, some of these moves, 300%, 250% in a week. Like I should probably sell at 1.5 here. And now they're sitting at 0.9. So it's a little bit of that combo that I'm having with myself as well. Okay. Any last thoughts there on the Zeneca piece and just where we're sitting?
Expect to see others doing exactly what Zeneca's doing, because it is the smart thing to do. And again, that probably has the same effect that Gordon Goner had. People are going to follow, and we may just see a big old dump, and it may take something pretty significant to counter that, to keep us level, again, treading water. But again, maybe it's just good to see traders smartening up, wisening up, and actually taking profits that we talk about doing all the time, and this time hopefully doing it.
Yeah, I loved what the combo. I think Lucky Trader was having you, but also Huda, you were talking about this. Like it's blur or bust in the month of November for the rest of this month. If the blur farming goes well and we see liquidity move into other places and it's awesome, we will continue our stairs up. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you hit it. It's yours.
It's two scenarios. It's either, okay, Blur season 2 ends and they announce season 3 and boom, we get some action in NFTs, like continued wash trades or whatever mechanics they come up with for season 3. Or if they don't, it's maybe those wash traders go right back to Friend Tech and we see the Friend Tech and SoFi space come right back up. It's one of those two. I don't see anything else happening. I don't even see like a ramp down. I just think that liquidity being in the space from the airdrop, it's going to make people want to trade. It's just a matter of where.
All right, I want to hit the chat really quick.
One quick question. Like, would you say, like, having seen the meme coin drop, you know, in the past, like, what I noticed from like big whales and holders of Memecoin is they immediately sold and went after like grails, you know, like punks and this. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be necessarily more farming or more trading and more like, again, parking that liquidity in stuff that you know is gonna hold its value or go up.
That's it. But only in grails. And I think we've now seen there's very few real grails, like real grails.
At least we do have
Yeah.
grails. There was a moment like 8 months ago where we were like, do grails exist? Like that was how bad it got. But look, yeah, I mean, the people that sold Memecoin, great for them. But now we're seeing a 60% move. And I think that's an all-time high here for the token. Man, dude, huge shout out. I don't know many people that were in on this. Again, we mentioned like multiple times, this feels like a lot of Asia got involved in this one and maybe the West got left behind, which I think is something for you guys to consider here at home, not financial advice. But those people I don't think are burned. Those communities are not burned as much, to Big E's point when he's talking about Zeneca and all these pieces. Parallel doesn't have this negative feeling to it because, again, it doesn't have this holder base that's like, oh, I'm down like 80%. I'm going to sell whenever we 2 or 3x. So there's a lot of things to be talking about there. Let me hit this chat really quick, guys, and then we can come back to it. First of all, Prodigy, love the poll. What Q is better, Miami Q or Wholesome Q? But also maybe the results are a little bit ridiculous. Miami Q, people want that more. So I don't know if you guys really know what you're getting yourselves into with that one. So 60% of y'all said Miami Q. All right, Kerry Ross is here. Innocent until proven guilty. He's dropping the coffins. Let's see. Justin Casey saying our memory is so short about times that he comes back. Prodigy saying bullish on PG because Asmodee's dropping that Phantom Galaxies has their version 3 avatars and ships ready for a 15th beta launch. Guys, let me move into one other thing, then we could take it where you want. We mentioned earlier about the parallel avatars and Prime tokens. So this is a community member here, Crypto Stamina OG, here in the community saying bought some Prime and it's still sending. This is the new economy. You'd think that we'd be super exposed, and I mentioned this multiple times, so I'm probably going to stop. But we probably aren't as exposed as we like to be here on the Prime token. Alluvium sitting pretty as well, moving up even more than Prime. I mean, look at that shit. Up 131% here in the last month for Alluvium. So big shout out to Kieran and that team. The last piece I'll mention here is that Parallel actually had some announcements drop in the last hour or two. So they are implementing an increase in the Prime rewards that you play for Parallel TCG. They had said this was on the roadmap, right? You're getting a certain amount of Prime based on one, if you have a parallel avatar. That might be the move, GIF. Like that might be why we saw that parallel avatar move other than the general thing. But parallel avatars give you a boost. I'm getting them wrong. These drives. So I bought a couple NFTs that are essentially drives that you can and keys that you can activate before the game starts, and you get like a 50% increase or some things like that. Also, win streaks are involved. But basically, guys, the announcement is the open beta is coming. They're actually turning that faucet a little bit more on here, and the Prime users are getting more Prime for playing.
Dude, that's absolutely the move with the avatars. The way that they're building the token rewards incentives and like mapping those back to utility for the NFTs is fucking brilliant because everybody wants to multiply their Prime rewards for playing the game. So everybody, like myself, wants a fucking avatar now, and I don't have one. So,
all right, I'm going to show this off real quick. GIF, if you want, depending on, so I actually have two that I don't think I play with Cathari, but you have to play with a specific avatar that's related to the faction. So I've got one Earthen and one Cathari, and I'm up, I think, double here. Jesus. All right. Yeah, these are the avatars though, man. So yeah, I think maybe that's the move then. Maybe that was that piece.
Have they mentioned what the release of the token will be like, or have they kept it pretty secret? Because I figure like this feels very much like they're trying to kind of guess that maybe they're gonna take a page from Memecoin, where, for example, the captains like basically they have a waterfall, right? Like they have a vesting of whatever amount of tokens you're supposed to get in a captain. It's going to be released over time. The real alpha there was like if you staked your potatoes, you would have gotten these maps, and the maps were the ones that gave you that instant liquidity, and you were able to cash out.
Yeah, look, I don't know enough about the Memecoin ecosystem, but I think that they do see I think as the token price increases, it's interesting because like turning on faucets, you start to get more distribution of the token into the supply, right? So maybe it's tough for me to wrap my head around the tokenomics without looking at the roadmap and pieces like that. All right, any last thoughts here on ILV or the gaming? I think that I don't really have another gaming project here on the dashboard, but other than Mocaverse. But any last thoughts on gaming?
Dude, I just want to finally prove all the people that have been like naysaying gaming NFTs wrong. Like all we need is just that one massive hit, and then just that I do believe that that's definitely a floodgate for this next bull cycle. So I just want to see which one it's going to be, you know. And Parallel is definitely up in there for the running.
Well, and it's a good point, and that's why, again, even if you're not playing Parallel right now, paying attention to it is important, because with this game getting a lot of traction, with any of these like Shrapnel, any of these games, Illuvium, any of these that really start to pick up and get a lot of attention and become very successful will absolutely trigger a lot more interest in the space, right? Like once you get a big game or a couple of big games that are doing really well, that have tokens attached where people are actually making good money just by playing them, you're going to get a lot. And you know, Q, we were sitting up here talking about like, we don't know where the next sort of like interest for NFTs comes. Gaming this holiday season is going to be big.
Well, shoot,
that could be.
Was it over the weekend that like the CEO of Roblox basically alluded to the fact that they're going to have NFTs in Roblox? I don't know how we didn't bring that one up.
Yeah, did we pull that up? I think we played that
last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did on Thursday. Okay. Yeah.
I will say, like, I hate to like say this, it's so fucking cliche, but that's what's gonna be different about this run is like no products outside of Axie Infinity that started building in like 2018. There's so many more products. Does that change this run? Like it's tough.
I wonder if it waters it down. Ultimately, like I still don't think it's gonna be as big as people think. It will be as big. I just don't think it gets as, what's the word I'm looking for, right? People are expecting this explosion. I think we are going to see that in quantity and some in quality, but I just don't think the prices are going to be there like people are expecting.
All right, you guys are mentioning this Roblox piece.
Huge.
I saw it, but let me see if I could get at least a small soundbite.
You ever see a moment where the platform itself becomes more open in the idea that, you know, your currency is something called Robux, and whether those Robux could be used off platform, whether we've talked about NFTs and things that could live inside Roblox.
I'm actually really surprised. Sorry, we're cutting this because of the copyright, but I'm really surprised.
It's like halfway in.
He answered.
He's like,
he asked this question.
Here about objects and NFTs moving from, there's a bit of a dream here about objects and NFTs moving from platform to platform. We do believe someday, for example, you know, I use the fun use case that someday Elton John may come on Roblox and make 8 or 10 1-unit really cool capes, for example, and sell them for charity. And we would imagine someday that those would go off platform as an NFT, possibly get sold off platform.
All right, so you get the idea. Roblox, is this the Roblox CEO?
That is the founder and CEO.
Wow.
Right?
Might be quicker than we thought.
Yeah.
All right, thoughts on this?
It's everything we've been wanting and hoping for and expecting at the same time. It's inevitable. That's it. I mean, that's the only thought. It is coming, whether people love it or hate it or whatever. It's coming, and people are gonna fucking love it, even though they say they don't like NFTs. They're gonna love it.
I already heard there's like people like Telegrams groups like being spun up by like prominent like players and parents, you know, and like literally trying to coordinate how to fucking front run this up.
It's a massive opportunity. This is why I've been shouting whenever I get the chance that Rocket League should make this move, because it's not like I know that they probably see like, oh, we might lose out on some amount of revenue by decentralizing our marketplace, but you open up so much more. Like you create a whole new market and economy that you can be capturing some percentage off of. It just makes too much sense, and it is inevitable. And I love Q for you, for myself, probably for Huda and Biggie too. You know, we've been doing the show for a long time. You've been doing the show forever. I love that there's going to be clips from like 2 to 3 years ago of us talking about this shit being inevitable. And gaming like NFTs, it's the thing that's gonna happen, right? Because makes us look really fucking smart actually when that guy goes and says that shit on TV.
So Decryptolorian is saying there are big things happening right now on Arbitrum, also missing out on big time. That market is going nuts. This is a little bit of alpha. Again, there's different combos. Like, do we want to have good games? And then also, what do we want to speculate on? Like, this is 700th by market cap big time right now. For reference, Illuvian was like 85th and Parallel is like 200th. So big time's been absolutely killing it, and their token really isn't following that much suit. You can see where other gaming tokens have been hit in the last 30 days. Big time is actually down almost 30%. So that might be something to take away from on the just pure speculation front. All right, look, you guys. I think you guys did extremely well there, explaining gaming and all the opportunities there. Cats Fanatics talking about Valeria games. I have not seen that platform, but we can maybe pull it up at some point. Have you seen that?
I was gonna say, and I've learned of this through Cats. I know Cats; he's a great dude. But I was just gonna say before, just the words "Land of Valeria." We don't need to go any deeper. It's just the Spidey sense, right? It's got me locked into that right there. It is gonna be a thing. It is it's my own kind of call, not an alpha call. It's just a call.
All right, well, let's bring it up tomorrow, man. Unless it runs tomorrow 100 to 200%, then I'm out.
It won't run.
It won't run. Okay. All right. I heard something earlier on one of the morning shows here. Before I get to that, actually, let me give a shout out here. Prodigy, Decryptolorian, Stan, everybody in chat here that is participating. You guys rock. If you're watching on X, we see you right now. Well, we don't technically see you, but you know, I see your account watching this. Prodigy saying NFT MOBA win. God, Biggie, he's getting after. Do that one more time. Let me see that.
Oh, that's adorable, man.
He's got all the effects.
I don't know what the other ones are though. Like the ones for rain and everything. Like, what's the emoji I have to do for that?
Why doesn't mine do it?
You got to do one of these.
Oh, he's got a heart. Yeah. I don't know.
No. All right, guys. Well, leave a like for all of that if that's the type of content you like. So here's the thing. I heard it, and I really found it funny on one of the morning shows talking about how Utes and DeGods have had this huge journey, just moving from Solana to Polygon and then to ETH and then
caravan of liquidity.
And they also moved to Ethereum at the exact time Blur farming was at its highest, so they got wrecked there. Just all of this stuff. And now what you see is this huge Solana run up where everyone is now back interested in Solana. And actually, Frank and the team would have probably ended up much better if they just stayed put. So there's that combo, but also want to touch on this that is coming across right now. MadLads hitting new all-time highs, which is another PFP. Basically, in the absence of a DeGods and Utes, you have MadLads. But guys, interested in your takes on those comments and what's happening on Solana.
Ooh, man, I saw MadLads coming a mile away since the backpack news like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, this is gonna be the new elite PFP over on Solana, like inevitable, and now it's here already. I'm shocked at how quick it came.
Well, they got a product. They built it. They delivered it. It's proven. It's great. Like, yeah, I think it was.
Well, I'll say this is the X factor. in a market we don't talk about maybe often enough, that exchange they're building is in Dubai, right? We don't talk about the Middle East that often. We talk about here in the States, we talk about the West, we talk about, you know, Asia now, the East. We don't talk about the Middle East, and there's a shit ton of money there, right? Maybe now behind
Shit
this
ton
project.
is an understatement.
Yeah. All right, I got a crazy story. Here's a narrative for you. Frank and the DeGods.
Don't say it.
I thought you were moving to Dubai or something
Don't
like
say
that.
it.
They return. They
No.
return to Solana.
No.
Think about how much craziness that would
Dear
drive.
Ethereum community.
Yeah. just think about the return after this caravan going full circle and then landing back where they started at Solana.
The Utes are just
They have to
ravaged.
visit Phantom and Cardano. No, they've got many a chain to visit before they circle back to Solana.
I'm just saying, people love a good comeback story.
They
should lean
season
into
for
that.
the return.
They love a good comeback story.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the story here. Is MadLads is almost about to flip DeGods and USD price here. So, and it might have at this point. Again, those tweets might be a little bit apart here. You can see that they're hitting all-time highs in their price. So I don't know if we have the official update there.
I'm gonna check. If only I had Slam AI up right now.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
true.
I don't know if did you guys see that Soho House reported its earnings and was like way below. So if that's the narrative that DeGods is still going to want to play, that might work against them as well.
What isn't going against them right now? What is DeGods and Utes doing well?
Can't answer that.
Crickets.
Right now. Waiting for the next drop, I guess.
I think they flipped him.
Wow.
Yeah. I see DeGods selling for like $7,000. Let me get right back to MadLads real quick.
Which still, like,
it's pretty solid. No, you know what? MadLads are selling for like $4,000 or so.
Okay.
So not quite.
Still some to go here. All right. I mean, that's a fair take, I think, from everybody here. It would be interesting to see how DeGods and Utes get back into this positive momentum loop that we know can, if it's going the opposite way, we know it can get bad. Like there are times where you like can't get back. I don't think DeGods is in that gutter cat territory by any means, but need some positive stuff happening.
Yeah,
I still really like the Utes as an aesthetic PFP move. It's probably a solid one below 1 ETH, but not as much as I like Oni below 1 ETH.
Oh, man, Oni didn't get the bid last week. They got a little bit, but they didn't get like the Gordon effect. Of course, he didn't buy one.
The fact he picked up an Azuki before an Oni is the most insulting part of the whole thing.
All right, I'm going to get to some quick news really quick, guys, and then we can hop into anything you guys want to hit on to end the episode here. Friend Tech is at some pretty low volume. I will say anecdotally, the key prices have done okay in that time. There's not that much volume. Everyone there is kind of just waiting on an airdrop, right? Because each week you're getting points, not based on the volume you're trading, more so on your portfolio value. So even if you don't make a trade once, you're still getting, points and maybe even more points if people continue to leave. So prices are stagnant. Volume is stagnant. We need to see some type of product update that actually moves the market there. I have another piece here. Xerox Polygon president F. Wiz becomes chief growth officer for Optimism here, a newly created subsidiary of Optimism Foundation. So, that we know that Polygon has done well on the business development side from the very beginning. They're absolutely fantastic at this. Does that mean Optimism has that going for it? How much was F. Wiz kind of a part of this? Ryan Wyatt. That's an interesting piece, I think, for Optimism.
Yeah, and they're also investing very heavily in the content now and creators and builders because they just have this $85 million creator fund that they basically announced recently as well, which I think that is part of the Magic Eden Polygon thing as well. But yeah, if you're a builder, Polygon is shilling out money.
All right, to Crypto Learning saying I like the Utes as well, but now it's off Poly. I'm just waiting for that comeback. That's another one. Like Polygon doesn't really have that big of a PFP market. Maybe we could discuss that at some point. All right, we have a Mocaverse mint that is happening. It looks like for the IDs. There's a reservation happening right now. I bring this up only because like fading Mocaverse has just not done well over the past 6 months. So it'd be interesting if you can get an invite code. I think that's probably a interesting play there. Invite code reserved mint starting at, so this already is happening. This happened this morning, but I think it's still open. I'll get an update on that. Any pieces, any talking points there on Mocha before I move on?
It's what you said. You don't bet against Animoca, who has they got their hands in pretty much every major project here in NFTs, it feels like. So yeah, mint one of those IDs when it's open to the public.
All right. The other pieces I want to get to here are this Grok token. GIF, I think you were the one that dropped this. So Zach XBT doing some work. And then I want to get to Roger Dickerman's art piece. But what's the update here, GIF?
It's exactly what it says, that whether or not people care, apparently Grok was created by a well-known scammer. And so that's not coming from me. This is Zach XBT just sharing this. We know and trust a lot of his journalistic integrity. So, you know, I haven't bought any Grok. I just know it's been popping off. It was launched obviously as a derivative meme token off the back of, I guess, Elon's AI, whatever that Grok AI or whatever is. And it pumped like crazy. It was like 160 million volume or something like that, but there's not a lot of liquidity. And yeah, just be very, very careful, because that's what Zach XBT is saying.
All right, we got a rush of quick news.
Yeah, what's shocker.
All right, Roger Dickerman's post on Monday, but specifically this Monday, gave me a lot of anxiety just because it felt like there are 15,000 things happening in the art scene. And it looks like Orcon is the one that kind of took the cake here with Maraca Data Miniatures selling out for 0.5 ETH. It looks like he bought 16 for himself. We've seen this before where the artists are kind of buying the last bit of it. I forgot, what was it, Milk? That was the other guy that bought his own voice with Nami. Yeah. Oh, so it went from 0.5 ETH to a floor of 5.75 ETH over the weekend. So that looks like the big winner. But Biggie, I always kind of lean on you here and the rest of the crew on the art side. It looks like he mentioned X copy as well. Yeah. What stood out to you?
People have been picking up a lot of X copy, and it just, you know, we were talking about it yesterday, like people going after Denzas and Squiggles and Punks, and of course X copy's got to be in that conversation. So yeah, I do see a lot of people, you know, consolidating and going into these like blue chip NFTs that, you know, are going to hold their value and probably pump magnificently once the once the bull phase comes in. So yeah, shucks, I love X copy.
Yeah, we don't have much info on this Orcon piece. And then Fidenza's also had a very large sale, 72 ETH there over the weekend. Any last pieces here you guys want to touch on the art side?
Yeah, let me drop you a link real quick.
I dropped you one in the chat also that I'd love to shout out.
Was it Nyx?
Yeah.
Nyx is dope.
Yeah, we hung out with him you know, when we were at the Foundry in LA, and it's just a smart person, really helpful. Just like you want to support these type of people, you know, that are here through and through. This is his own like personal projects, 300 pieces. It's minting, I think, this Wednesday, and it's all about reforestation, you know, leaving the planet better for your kids. I think that was his main motivation. I'd love to have him maybe come up on the spaces and Web3 Live and talk a little more about it, because it's really cool. He developed it himself, and then he also developed this really cool tool that he used in parallel for this, but also uses like inspired by the Transient Lab contract for like the story metadata that a lot of people don't look at, and it's like unlocked a whole bunch of like different things about past NFTs where people haven't looked at that particular sector of the NFT, and it has some really cool messages by the artist and stuff. It's all open source, available for everybody. Really, really cool guy. I'm hoping I get an allow list for this, and I get to mint it. It's all on chain as well. Like you know, as much as I'm doing it also because he's my homie and I love, you know, the whole angle that he's tackling for it. I think, you know, he's got a lot of potential, you know, down the line. So I'd keep my eye out on Nix. He's just one smart motherfucker.
So 300 pieces. How do you get on the allow list, Biggie?
I think you can do. There was a pre-mint if you go to his profile pic, and then if not, like I know he's going around different spaces and stuff and like dropping allow lists. So I've been chatting with him. Maybe we can get him in, you know, this week, and you know, you never know.
All right, I appreciate that update, guys. Let's move on here. I am going to drop the OpenSea link as well as the Twitter profile. You can see there 2 days, 20 hours, and we might be able to get some pre-sale advantages here.
And by the way, like so one of his early sketches or concepts for this, he dropped on Command A, which is beautiful. It's called Vespertine. You can go check it out. You know,
love it. All right,
yeah.
All right. Let's hit some of these others. Huda, you brought up a royalties piece. We could also hit on any of the other ones that you like.
Yeah, that was just actually the very last one I sent is the one I really wanted to talk about just for a quick minute. But that royalty thing is interesting. I like to see people getting a little creative, and I more importantly, I like to see artists supporting their collectors. So I thought this was cool and worth shouting out here.
Heck yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, now this one, a word of caution. Having traded art and collected art now for years, there are metas in art. There are types of art and techniques that become very trendy, very fashionable. And then I noticed that there are these groups of collectors who maybe don't trade as often. They come in and they chase it, right? They'll buy anything they see that resembles, well, the art that's doing really well. And the trend we're seeing here is all coming from Rafiq's, that incredible Winds of Yawanawa collection. Well, you have all these collections that they're similar in a way in that their AI is used as a tool, I'll say, right? There's a lot of motion in them. They're beautiful. But we're going to start seeing like so many copycats of these. People are going to chase them. Don't chase them, right? If you see something you love, get it, of course, right? If it's priced right, of course. But just be really careful with that type of art right now because we're just going to see a huge influx of that.
Really great point.
100%. Yes, agree.
Yeah, well, it's just like what happened with PFP derivatives, right? So whenever you saw a successful project, you immediately saw 2 or 3 different derivatives. The Simpsons, we just saw that. And to me, I think it's interesting to see that happening with generative art and AI art for sure, right? I don't think we've really seen that much because we haven't seen as much traction or big generative AI art collections yet. So of course, wherever there's success, you're going to see a million people trying to capitalize and ride those coattails. And
I think one of the best approaches, you know, if you are going to go after collecting like AI art, I think we saw Grant Revenue talk about this like this weekend, is curation. You know, like, especially for this, it is such a, you know, it appears to be something so easy to fabricate, but to do it well and to recognize the people that are doing it well is a talent in and of its own. So if you're not educated on who the movers and shakers are, go follow the people that are doing it right, and you'll get a good notion of like who's worth collecting and who's not.
I will say this as well. I want to preface it again. I'm not in a traditional art sense, a collector or anything like that, or in those kind of communities. But I'm assuming that once your initial collectors kind of have the ability to either flip or make a bag, like they're now a little bit more invested in you going forward. Like they'll buy your second and third piece and all this stuff. And you see that, I think, at high pace in the NFT industry. Like you look at Orcon right here saying all Morocco holders were rewarded with their first artwork, Morocco the Process, 10 editions distributed across all holders. So now you have this like flywheel effect where the original collectors are 100% going to try to continue to support this artist if he's going to show some love like this back. He or she.
Yeah. I like it. It's clever. Also, did you guys notice that new trend of these edition sizes of 10? That's I don't know if it started with the milk collection, but here's another example, and I'm just starting to notice that, I guess, after seeing this. These 10 edition sizes, just
I love it. Yeah, it's a great way, I think, to fragment like a collection, what is a cohesive collection in and of itself. Like outside of maybe just like the rarity traits, right? Like you could have something that's got like most of the rarity traits, but maybe but if it's only 10 out of a certain amount, like I think it just helps it like hold its value a little bit better, be a little bit more selective about what you're picking, especially if you have the capacity to pick it, right? Like we did with Nami, whether you wanted a certain color of wave. It was only after the fact that we realized like, oh, like some of them are more scarce than others, right? But yeah, I think it's great. We'll probably see more of that for sure.
Gif, you got anything there?
Nah, man, it's been a great combo.
He wants to go back to his coffin and get some.
I do. I have a lot on my mind.
Yeah, we're about to show off this last piece here with gifdead. We've been going about an hour, so I think we can probably wrap it up relatively soon. I didn't really have much. I think the Ringer's Goose moving to 6529 officially from Sotheby's was a big move. Anybody got last thoughts on that?
Great to see the transaction finalized. Like the Goose is home. It's a significant milestone for the NFT space and for NFT art and for generative art. It is a very significant moment. So just, great to see that with Pump.
I do think it would be fun on another episode to kind of just look a little bit deeper into how he's managing this collection, because the tech and the way that he's safekeeping and like attributing and doing different things with these pieces of art, I think is really fascinating. So yeah, I that's a whole rabbit hole, but I do think it would be interesting to look into exactly like what he's doing with this piece and his collection.
6529 and his fund. Yes, dude. It's an impressive fund to his collection. Yes. Yeah. Let's do that.
Smart dude, 100% too.
Yeah, well, I bet Jared will have some thoughts about this when he comes visit us later this week, because I think like him and Cosmo, right, are like solid. Like we love to throw around this thing, patron of the arts and collector. Like these guys are they are, I think, some of the people that are really cementing, NFTs as a valid form of artwork and culture. And like, I mean, they're donating them too. Like some of these collections and some of these pieces that they're donating are fantastic, like they can't get enough credit in my opinion. And yeah, I think their approach is very significant because it's deliberate, calculated, and informed by a lot of past history and experience, I think. So I'd love to hear what Jared has to say about that.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Jared is going to be on NFT Live tomorrow, so we're going to be hearing from him, and that's probably a really great opportunity to talk about the art that's kind of at the back half of this episode. So whether we get him in tomorrow or sometime on the rest of the week, that would be awesome. I also like his interesting take here. Maybe others looking to copy Gordon art buys. So like that somehow bleeding out of NFTs into art is a funny narrative.
Okay, that is an interesting point. That one of the things since the jump of NFTs, there's only been a couple things that like get you a lot of traction and clout. One of them is buying a bunch of NFTs. And so while there might be Zenecas and people like rebalancing portfolios, I wouldn't be surprised to see some other people start up the whole like, hey, I'm going shopping and showing you all these different things I'm buying. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of that also over the coming months.
All right.
My favorite is seeing that on Tezos. People saying, I got 100 Tez, show me your art.
That meme. Gotta love that. All right, I wanted to share this with you at the beginning of the episode. It just didn't fit, but this I think wraps up my thoughts on what's happening right now in the industry. Arthur Zero X saying there are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. And really, over the past 2 weeks, that I feel this in my soul. And finally, what is happening tonight? That is going to be Gifdead's Coffins. I'm excited for this release. I guess have your gas ready because Biggie Poppin's going to have his finger on the trigger. Give me the details here before we get up out of here.
Well, it is an inclusive open gen project. What does that mean? It means that it is generative in that you take an action, you mint, and then the generator runs its algorithm through all the different, over 400 inputs, and in real time you create a totally unique, brand new coffin. But I leave it open for a window of time and then I close it forever. So the pre-sale starts tonight at 7 p.m. Everyone on the allow list can generate 2. It's free plus gas. You do have to pay the gas. I'm very excited to see the gas coming down a bit. It was around 40 Gwei last time I checked. But again, I'm making it inclusive. This pre-sale window will be open almost 48 hours until Wednesday at 1 p.m. And then the public sale starts at 2 p.m. PST Wednesday, and then it'll be only $9 plus gas. Again, very inclusive, and it will be open until December 14th, so almost a month, and then it closes forever. I just want people to get in, play with the generators, see all the cool combinations. That's again why I'm giving away 2 to every single wallet on the allow. Is I just want all the homies. I want y'all out there to hopefully go claim a couple, check them out. If you mint some too, hey. Thank you. I love that. Appreciate that, of course. But even if you can't spare a few bucks to mint in the public, if you can just get on the allow list, get some, then I would love that. I would be super stoked to see what you can make.
Is there a co-founder mint window?
No? Yeah, the allow list. Yeah, you're on the allow list for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay, I probably will mint the first 5 or 10 to my wallet to get the collection.
Kill me now.
Well, I could either give those away or hook up amazing people in our community with those first tokens if that's what I choose to do.
Low serial numbers are, a thing.
It's a thing.
It's GIF.
Oh, and the last word on it is that there will be a celebratory X Space tonight at 7 p.m. on X Spaces to celebrate the launch of the presale and see the first mints, people hopefully getting in there and playing with it. So if you can join at 7 p.m. PST, would love and appreciate seeing you there when it goes live.
You know what I want? I want Coffin 666. That'd be dope.
That would be fucking sick.
I'll be watching for that as well. I gotta get in front of it. I gotta get in front of it.
And I'm already haven't really slept, and I probably will not be sleeping very much this week to get this all finished. But I'm excited.
All right. Well, you heard Gifted. We have to get up out of here and let him either nap or work or do.
Oh, I got work. There's no napping, bro. I haven't finished the creative. The creative is not finished yet. It's gonna be finished.
All right. Love to hear it. Kerry Ross, Easy in Crypto, Obi Too Tall, Marty McFly, even though he's here to FUD Yuga, Decryptolorian, Prodigy, Stan, yelling VV here. Cats Fanatic, good to see you here for the first time. Justin Casey, Asmodai, Nick Swerves. I mean, you guys are all very much appreciated. We are going to be back tomorrow here, hopefully with Jared Paz to talk generative art and the art scene. And again, we do have Coffins going here live tonight. Guys, let's go around the circle one last time. Gifdead's going to send us out, but Biggie, get us started, man.
OVOT, fam. Beautiful Monday. Nice week of possibilities. I am pumped to go through it with y'all. Again, as usual, OVOT. See you tomorrow.
Huda.
I will end on art. It looks like Hakatow is the next super rare pass artist, so that's pretty big, pretty cool. And I think I will truly actually end it on GIF. Good luck, man. I can't wait to see the coffins. I'm minting 4, so can't wait. Again, I'll be there tonight, though.
Dude, I appreciate that so much. And shout out to all y'all who are hanging out with us. I see Obi. I see Decryptolorian. Some of y'all shouting out Coffin specifically in the chat. It means a ton. Our vibe, our tribe. I'm exhausted, but I got to go make some art. Dude, get into the layers. That's it.